Today's sharing is actually a lot based on government numbers, of course, how we interpret from those, and then we come to certain conclusions. So you should also do your own diligence instead of relying totally on what we have presented to make your property buying decision. First off, of course, we will touch on the private property market, fourth quarter numbers, and then also the entire year. First off is, of course, the prices. Prices has continued to move up. It did not actually come down or did not even stay unchanged, for example. It's still a bit of price gain in the fourth quarter. So overall, the whole year, we have about 8.6%, slightly lower than what we had in 2021, which was about 10.6%. And you can see that over here in the last quarter itself, we actually, you can see that the king here has actually sort of flattened because the price growth was only like 0.4%, very, very little. Why is that so? First, let's understand a bit on the second quarter and third quarter. So second quarter and third quarter, we have new property launches, and that was actually launched at benchmark prices. So when you have property launches at benchmark prices, and at the same time, they sold very well, almost, I would say, almost all the projects sold above 70%, and some even reached as high as 98%. So that will naturally push up the price growth over here. But in the last quarter of the year, we do not have big property launches. The property launches that we had during the last quarter of the year, the prices were very similar to the surrounding area and what has been launched in the past. That's why the price gain is very, very minute at only 0.4%. And in fact, for 2022, the market actually witnessed the lowest volume of launch units in more than 20 years. This chart here shows you all the launch units since 1996 until 2002. On average, every year, actually, developer launched about 10,000 units. But in 2022, they're only able to push up only slightly more than 4,000, about 4,005. So there is this shortfall of more than 5,000 units. That's why when you have this, you naturally, in a way, your sales volume is also going to be affected because you do not have new homes for people to choose from to buy. And at the same time, the last quarter itself, the volume launch is actually also the lowest ever as well. So in a way that all this actually fits into the whole price, which is why the price has moderated and so on. But when we look at the volume, how much is the demand? Actually, demand is still pretty healthy. The orange is a units that's launched. Like I said just now, we had the lowest volume here launched in the last quarter. But the blue bar, which represents the demand, that means number of units actually sold. We have 7 quarters where our blue bar exceeds our orange bar. That means there is actually more demand in the market than the supply. That's why this sort of support the whole market for healthy price gains, and also in a way set the bench, so-called the base for property prices also. And for this, you can see that last time when we had cooling measure, we tend to see very fast that the volume will come down and it takes some time for it to actually go up. But this time around, even though we have cooling measure, it takes only a quarter before the volume starts going up again. And also the volume, the sales volume exceed the launch units, even with the cooling measure. This was not a case previously. When we had cooling measure, you can see that launch volume tends to exceed the buying demand. These are the top 10 projects, best-selling projects in 2022. Like I mentioned earlier, some of these like Lentor Modern, Amo Residence, Piccadilly Grand, Live at MB, these are actually launched at benchmark prices in that area. So they actually push up the overall sales index in the second quarter and the third quarter itself. And you can see the benchmark price here, like for example, median price is about 2,001 for a mass market project. This is actually much higher than the City Fringe project itself. So naturally, this was slightly older, launched much earlier. So the City Fringe project right now, they are trading about 22421. So this is how the market has actually moved in terms of the pricing already. It's not very hard to find a project that is actually priced below 2,000 in terms of the median price or average price, if you want to look at that. So right now, even though the project can start from 1,009, but on average, or in terms of median, it is likely to be more than 2,000. So that's how the benchmark price has actually moved up. So if you're looking at a 1-bedroom, say 500 square feet times 2,000, you're looking at a price of 1 million. So that is the budget that buyers have prepared for, and they are willing to actually come out with this money actually to own a private property. So because of the strong buying demand, this actually reduced the number of unsold stock in the market. Here, the unsold stock includes those that has already been launched, unsold, and as well as projects in the pipeline that's not been launched yet. So what we can see over here is that on average, 10-year average, 2012 to 2021, the average unsold unit per year is about 28,000 units. Right now, what we are seeing in the market is that we only have 16,000 units that's unsold. So we are looking at something close to 12,000 units in terms of the gap over there, the shortfall. So it really, because of this, there's actually so little supply out there in the market. Actually, there's price pressure, there's pressure on the prices to move up. So regardless that you only have so-called some of these so-called maybe government monitoring, and then you have other so-called not so nice news in the economy and so on. But this, because of this shortfall out there in the supply, prices is not likely to fall in 2023. Later on, I will show you how many years we will actually need. We do some mathematical calculation here to actually move up back to these 28,000 unsold units also. The resale market-wise is slightly slower in the fourth quarter of the year, and overall the whole transaction volume is also lower than what we had in 2021. The resale market will feel the hit from the higher interest rate more. Like in 2022, some of the fixed rate loan can even exceed 4%. So if you are buying a resale property, straight away, immediately after you sign the SMP and take over possession, you will need to service your loan immediately already. So you are facing like a fixed rate loan of 4%. Whereas if you look at new sale, that means buy from developer, because it's on the progressive payment basis, you don't start to service your loan immediately. In fact, the first drawdown on the loan is likely to be 1 year later. And 1 year later, you don't draw down the full amount also, because it's based on stage of construction. Usually the first stage is where you complete the foundation, that's about 10%, but 5% has to be satisfied in cash and 5% in loan. So in a way, you're only paying that 5% of that loan that you are taking from the bank. So even 1 year later, so this is still quite a manageable amount for people who buy new homes. That's why the new home market is in a way relatively not affected by the high interest rate. So overall, the whole year itself, foreigners are starting to come back already, since we have relaxed our border measures in April 2022. And slowly they've been moving up. So you can see that the fourth quarter, the foreigners actually make up more than 6% of the buying volume, compared to the third quarter where we only had 4%. But all in the entire year, we are looking at something like 4.3%. So this year, with China opening up their borders also, we think that this could actually inch up to at 5% in 2023. These are some of the projects with sales to foreigner, and some of these projects, in a way, they have achieved their TOP in 2022. So foreigners actually can see, and even buyers can see, and this actually helped to the sales for some of these projects that upon reaching their TOP, they have quickly sold out their remaining units itself. So some of these projects have also achieved their TOP in 2023 also, and they are moving quite well. This project is like River. River is actually River Valley area on the former Suk side. They just got the TOP in January 2023, if I remember correctly, and they are left with probably 30 plus units thereabout. So not many left for those who want to have a riverside living. So the next is about the luxury market. So in the last quarter, sales has actually come down a bit, but this is largely also in line with the general market, because the general market itself has also been a bit slower in the last quarter of the year. But nevertheless, in 2023, when we resume all the travel and the Chinese and can all come in, even Singapore has dropped all our COVID-related measures already. So it's going back to living as per normal, no more masks needed in public transport. So this is going to benefit a lot in a way, the Chinese coming back, benefiting the luxury market. So we think that 2023 is going to be a year where the super luxe segment of the market is going to see a lot of transactions. For rents wise, in 2022, is up almost 30%. It's actually, in a way, due a lot to limited supply. So over here, I try to explain why there is limited supply. So we know that homes actually takes time to be built. So when the market comes down, prices start coming down, what the whole market react is that the developers will buy less land and they will build less. Government also don't want to flood the market and cause the downturn to be more prolonged as well. So they also cut back on the land sales. The en bloc market side also will slow down in terms of market downturn. So from 2023 onwards, right, there is actually lesser land being sold. And this actually will so-called in a way manifest in terms of numbers, not immediately because it takes time to build. So whatever land you sell during this period where the prices start coming out, 2014 to 2016, take 4 years to build, and they will actually start. This will be reflected in the market in 2018 onwards, which is why when the land was cut here, land supply, the completed units here is going to be very, very low, which is why here we don't see a lot. And furthermore, in 2020, we got hit by COVID, and the construction industry basically for a few months actually came to a stop. Nothing was being built. So you have all this affecting the supply of new homes that can be completed in a year. So on average, from 2012 to 2017, right, the new supply, that means homes that is actually completed, stands close to 16,000. But look at the gap over here. We have so much gap. Not many homes completed over. That's why this gap, in a way, it takes time for the market to catch up again. So when will the market catch up? The market will try to catch up in the next few years from 2023 onwards, but we still cannot make up for the shortfall. When I do my outlook later, I'll show you again that we still cannot make up for this shortfall. That's why rents will still continue to go up in 2023 as well. So how about the HDB market? HDB market-wise, last quarter of the year, the price gain is also a bit slower, but nevertheless still above 2%. So the whole year is about 10.4%, lower than what we had in 2021, but nevertheless 10% is still in a way considered high. And the government also came out with cooling measures that took effect on September 30th, where they in a way say that private property owners who are actually moving to selling their private property and moving to a HDB flat have to fulfill a time bar of 15 months before they can do so. Of course, if they are age 55 and above and they are buying a 4-room or smaller, then they do not need to fulfill this. So this effect is probably going to be felt in the market, but in a way, right now, based on preliminary numbers that we had for January, it doesn't seem to be having much of an impact because volume is back up again. Prices is back up a lot, more than 2% in the first month of the year. So this cooling measure here may not have, in a way, that much bite because they are perhaps targeting only a small group of buyers. But in general, there's a bigger market out there that still are hungry for HDB flats, and they are still going into the market to buy HDB resale flats. HDB momentum, the last month has come down last quarter come down quite a bit because of the cooling measure. It took place on 30th September. So if the private property owners cannot submit their resale application in time, they may not be able, they appeal and it doesn't go through. So it will reduce that volume in October as well, maybe in November. So it partly explains why some of this volume here actually came down. Of course, the other reason is maybe during the year end, some people actually go for holiday and may not want to commit to a buying decision, because if they go and then HDB schedule a appointment during the last month of the year, then they may not be able to make it. So they may actually push off their buying decision. That's why it may come in January itself. So these are the prices of the 4-room flat in the top 5 HDB towns. These are towns that see a lot of transactions in 2022. So on average right now, if you are looking at Huttons and Yishun, it's about 470,000 for a 4-room flat. So, but it can go as high as more than 600,000 also. The rest is like already about more than 500,000 already. So how does it compare? This is just 2022. If we will compare these 4-room flats of these top 5 towns in 2021 versus 2022, this is how it actually looks like. So for Woodlands, in 2022, the 4-room flat has actually moved up by more than 10%, 14% in fact. Then the rest, like Yishun about 9, Tampines 9.8, then Punggol 11, and Singapore about 10.9. So on the whole, the 4-room flat on an island-wide basis in 2022 has gone up by almost 9%. This thing note that this is actually the 4-room flat. We have not included the 5-room and the executive as well as the 3-room. So 5-room and executive, the price gains will have been much more than this, because quite a number of the $1 million flats were actually in the 5-room as well as the executive. So we have a lot of $1 million flats in 2022. This is the highest on record, 370 of them, against a total year transaction volume of 27 plus thousand units. So it makes up about 1.3%. Definitely rising. So with the cooling measure, will this actually make the thing ease? We hope so, but whether it comes to fruition, we have to continue to monitor for a few more months. So like I said earlier, almost 90% of the $1 million flats are actually your 5-room and larger. So this segment of the market may have seen even faster price gains in 2022 compared to 2021. And we have seen more non-mature estates having more $1 million flats. This is a comparison across the quarters where we can register $1 million flats itself. So right now, last quarter we have 10 in the non-mature estate. And then coming in January this year, we already have $40 million flats. So the $40 million flats, we also have some in the non-mature estate, of course, but predominantly still in the mature estate itself. So where is the market headed to in 2023? Is it going to go up very fast, or go at a slower pace, or will it come down? There are people, I mean, when we interact with our associates and all this, they tell us that some of their buyers think that the market is going to come down in 2023. But we are here tonight. I will try to clarify, try to so-called dispel some of this so-called perception that market is going to come down in 2023. First off is that we will talk about this. China announces loosening of COVID-19 restrictions, and their people can actually travel now in and out without any quarantine control. Of course, the main concern about the Chinese now is that what happens if they travel out and then suddenly China tightens again? Then they actually cannot go back to their country. So that is one of their main concerns. That's why still not seeing a lot of Chinese going out traveling for holidays. But the super wealthy, they are out of the country because they may have already made that decision to move out of China, maybe permanently, maybe moving the bulk of their wealth out of China. So this is some of the so-called things that have been so-called surfaced in recent weeks itself, because they, in a way, a bit de-illusion about some of the COVID measures and how the government had controlled the whole country during this COVID time. So they are looking actually to move out of the country to seek another place to stay in. And the places that where many Chinese property buyers go to, actually on this map here, I underline those: Hong Kong, you have Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, then you have Australia and New Zealand also. These are really the few places that Chinese buyers really go to. And then they are definitely going to come to Singapore. We are on their radar. The super wealthy are here. We already have transactions on the ground, snapping up a lot of super lux project in the market. This super lux project is not your typical 10 million type of property. It could be 20 million, 30 million property price tag. And these are actually very, very large units, and they could be, the price could be more than 3,500 or even more than $4,000 per square foot. So they are not in a way adverse even to paying the additional buyer stamp duty of 30%, so that they can actually move here and stay here. Some of them are actually with the view of even setting up family offices or moving their business from China over to Singapore. But there is also this thing that IMF actually announced on the property market worldwide. They say from Hong Kong to Malaysia, a lot of property markets are actually set to decline. But will that happen in Singapore? Of course, this is also, when this come up, people will also worry that Singapore market will also follow the same trend. Then this is another report by one of our Savvy, actually one of our Huttons shareholder. So they have this prime so-called prime market, prime residential market in the key cities around the world. Singapore and Dubai is going to be the two cities around the world in 2023 to see an increase in terms of the capital value for prime properties. Prime properties, generally we refer to properties in the core central region. I think one of these is that they say that the Chinese coming in back to Singapore really could potentially lead to the prime market, prime residential market in Singapore seeing an increase in terms of demand and also value going up as well. So in a way, they have this, and we also think that in 2023, Singapore market is not going to go down, it's going to increase. We estimate about 5%. So when we compare around the region, for Australia, we are seeing prices declining in 2022. Right now, they are still having some headwinds for their market in 2023 because of interest rate. New Zealand also, prices have come down. Thailand prices is also not so-called growing, it's coming down, and as well as Hong Kong. Maybe this year with the Chinese coming back, it may revive their market again. Malaysia prices also has not been growing also in perhaps not growing in 2023. So we are probably the bright spot within those countries that generally many Chinese property buyer go to. So this thing definitely will not so-called be, this will actually be in the radar of a lot of Chinese property buyers. And the super rich, they actually see Singapore as an ideal place to actually park their wealth. They start a family office with 20 million, 40 million. Then they actually use these to diversify and invest so that they can do wealth preservation. And in fact, Singapore, sometimes they also look at certain properties like freehold properties for wealth preservation, and shophouses, again, is also one of their choice investment asset for wealth preservation as well. And this is all about demand. Now we talk about supply. Demand, so from demand side, we are of the view that the demand from the Chinese is going to come back. But how about supply? Supply over here, earlier I showed this chart to all of you, talking about the average unsold units on the 10-year trend is about 28,000 units. So we have a shortfall here of 12,000. I said earlier that we need years actually to boost up this shortfall. But the question is how many years? So let's do a bit of calculation. So in a way, you want this supply to go up. What does it mean? Because this supply here is actually made up of two components. Because every year we will sell units. So when we sell and then we don't add in new supply, what happened to the unsold stock? The unsold stock will come down. If we add in supply and then we sell, if these two matches, this unsold stock will stay stagnant. If we have supply increasing faster than the number that we sell, naturally these unsold units here will trend upwards. So this is the math equation that the unsold units is equal to your new supply minus your demand. So this is how we come up with this table over here. So our assumption over here is that whatever land is sold through the GLS and sold through en bloc takes 1 year to come into the market as new supply. So whatever is sold in 2016, it will appear in the market as new supply in 2017. So whatever is sold in 2017, it will appear in the market as new supply in 2018. So this experience here in 2016, this is the amount of land that we sold, and we can build about 5,500 units. So it means that this will go in launch ready in 2017, so we come up in new supply. But in 2017, based on URA numbers, we actually sold 10,000 units. So that means even though we have so much units, 5,500, but we actually sell more than that. So that is going to reduce the number of unsold units in the market. So this is how you can read this table over here. This net here is taking this A minus B. So when you have negative, that means the market is actually selling more than what we actually push out in terms of the new supply. So all in over this period from 2017 to 2022, the market only witnessed an increase in the supply of homes of about 48,000 units. But over this period from 2017 to 2022, the market actually bought close to 60,000 units. That's why you have this shortfall, this gap here of about 11,000 units here. Then we need to bridge this 11,000 units itself. How do we make sure that this 11,000 units gap is actually reduced to zero? Because when we match our supply with demand, of course, this is quite difficult to achieve in reality. But let's say we really want to do that so that we can ensure a stable market, we definitely need to increase our supply of land. How? Like I said, we need to have more new supply, more new land that's being sold, so that whatever we sell into the market itself in terms of the land supply, actually more than what buyers are buying from the market, so that we can actually narrow or close this gap of 11,000 units. If we really want to close this very fast, then we need to sell more. But let's see here, if let's say we only increase our land supply that is more than our demand by 2,900 units a year, then we can close this 11,000 units here in about 4 years. So it just take this divide by 2009, or rather I would say that actually I use 4 years to decide how many units over here. So if you want to close it in 4 years, you need to boost it by 2009. So if you want to close it even faster in 3 years, you take this 11,366 units, divide by 3, then you need to boost the land supply that is actually sold more than the demand by 3,800 units. And then of course, even faster, if it's going to be 2 years, then you need to push out even more land supply in that sense. So that is how I will see this. That's why it actually will take years to actually boost up, because it is not just about selling more land. It's also about whether the market is so-called prepared to buy all this land also. And when they buy, they need to build. There's also constraint in terms of resources, because after all, we only have that many construction companies that can actually build. But the government needs this construction company also to build all our infrastructure projects, MRT lines, the North-South Highway, and a lot of other things that they want to build as well. And then HDB also want to ramp up their supply. So all these are all competing for the same resources, our construction resources. So in a way, you want to push up doesn't mean that you may be able to actually achieve that effect of reducing this gap in the market. So this gap is not really very easy to reduce. It is going to take years. How many years? It only depends on how much more land we can actually sell to actually help to make this gap even smaller. And for the $1 million flats wise, we think that probably because of cooling measure, it may actually start to come down. But I think by and large, more on the thing is that whether buyers in the market are prepared to pay $1 million for a flat. Let's say the flat is has a remaining lease only of 60+ years, where they consider that. So that is so-called that more of a consideration for buyers itself because of the lease decay issue. If not, they will be buying something that have a value that goes down to zero at the end of the lease. So if they are prepared to consider that, then of course they will go in and be prepared to actually pay 1 million. But by and large, we think that we may not see so many $1 million flats in 2023. But then again, we may be wrong, because in January itself, we received 40 flats If that's continued for the next 11 months, then we are going to see another record in terms of $1 million flats sold in a year. Private rents now, it may not ease in 2023. There is market talk that in 2023, we're going to have a lot of completion here. Over here is about 17,000 units. But I don't think rents will ease. Why? Just now earlier, I explained about the average new supply. This is completed new homes that goes into the market where some will be made available for rental. So we have over these 6 years here, completion of about close to 16,000 units. So when you have so much, definitely you will help to moderate the rents in the market. But I say because of market cycle and things, people start tapering back the land supply, not building so much. And this actually reflected over here, where we have such this shortfall over here, this gap. This green arrow here shows the gap from here to our average new supply for the past 6 years. So you can see we have so many units. This easily add up to more than 30,000 units over here. So what is this 17,000 units going to do to address the more than 30,000 units gap that has built up in the past 5 years? It's not going to solve that so-called tight supply situation in the market. And then the other thing is that when you have a lot of new homes completed, new homes generally, they will command higher rental. And when they command higher rental, they have an uplifting effect on the whole market also. So why when there is actually unlikely, very, very unlikely that rents is going to come down in 2023. In fact, we think rents is going to go up another, say, 10 to 15% again. So that's why we are forecasting this to go up. Not so steep, but it will still continue up. And then after that, the market is going to get worse again because the supply available for rent is going to get lesser and lesser, as you can see over here. Going to come down and then drop off a cliff in 2027, after 2027. So if we want to address this, as I said again, just now, this supply over here, we need to close the gap. We need to push out a lot of homes out for sale, so that when we push out a lot in 2023 and it takes 5 years or 4 years to build, you will start to see them competing over here, and hopefully this will come back up to help the rental market. But it has to come back beyond here again, and we have this gap here as well to manage. And this gap again will create a tightness in the market. When you have the tightness in the market, rents again is going to be supported. So in our view, this thing we cannot resolve over here already. Short of a very, very major bad economic downturn, rents are probably going to continue to go up in 2024 all the way to for the next few years also, because this shortfall, this gap in terms of the completed units is in a way already built into the system, and there's it's very difficult to reverse that, because it takes a few years for the so-called the project to be completed and then to be put out for rental. HDB rents, again, we think that's going to increase in 2023 because let's say if a private rents increase, some of these tenants may feel the pinch and will move to the HDB flats also. And then this, of course, will have stimulate some demand over the HDB market and therefore support the rents increase also. This is so much for the demand as well as supply. So moving forward, in the next few months, in the first quarter, we're going to see a few more launches, up to as many as 9. We will have Seneca Residence actually launched in January. So the project actually sold pretty well, strong result, moving 60% of units on launch day. And it has actually, in a way, tell the market is that there is actually a lot of demand in the market for private new homes. So some of these homes that's coming up should probably see pretty robust sales as well. Coming up will be Terra Hill. So if some of you all have joined us for our Terra Hill consumer seminar yesterday, you have actually listened about Terra Hill. So today I'm not going to touch on Terra Hill. I'm going to touch on another upcoming project in February, which is the Botany at Dairy Farm. It's at the Dairy Farm estate area, and there will be lots more coming up. at the One North area at Blossoms by the Park. Lentor side will be Lentor Hills Residences. And we have the other coming up probably in March also. Maybe it could be, we don't know the pricing yet, maybe one of the most attractive prices projects in 2023 also. Following that, we have Continuum, Tembusu Grand, and Grand Diamond. So let's talk about Botany at Dairy Farm. What is so unique and what makes this project actually stands out? First, the Botany is in the Dairy Farm area I mentioned. The location is in a place where you are surrounded by large greenery. Because you look at where Botany is, you look towards the south. This is your whole greenery. Your nature reserve is also over here as well. So here is a very tranquil environment. I've been there at night. It is very, very quiet, very nice place to actually stay in also. And then towards the north, this is actually your good class bungalow area. You know the landed good class bungalow area. You are actually, there's a height limit that you can actually build 2-story only. So here you are more than 10 stories. I think it's 14 stories. You are going to have a good view towards the north, clearing all this. And to the south here, can't remember which level, could probably be the level 6 or level 7. Then you will clear this German international school and look unblock view all the way towards the south already. And not only that, we will have a dairy farm residence here. This is a mixed-use development, so there is retail amenities on the first level. So buyers who buy Botany can actually cross the road, and over there they can actually get all the daily necessities that they need. They're going to have supermarket over there, if I'm not wrong. And it is also quite near to the Hillview MRT. Just walk down the Dairy Farm Road and you can hit Hillview MRT also. So good location also. And if you are driving, going to the BKE is also quite easy, because you exit from here, you go down, you will hit BKE. And this is the unit type. We do not have a lot of units available for sale for Botany. There are only 386 units. And the units in itself are pretty sizable, I would say. The one bedroom, the 1+ study is more than 500 square feet. And then it will have 2-bedroom and the 2-bedroom premium. All these are also of a good decent size as well. So let us take a look at how the site layout is like for Botany. All the units are north-south facing. So facing north, you will have an unblocked view towards the good class bungalow area. And we are facing the south. Once you clear the German school, you also have unblocked view all the way of the greenery towards the south. So you are going to have good views over here for buyers of the Botany. And swimming pool is quite a fair bit. And then with this tennis court. Not many projects nowadays actually has a tennis court. So it is actually quite rare to find. So Botany is a project that comes with a tennis court. This is the unit distribution. I will not go into this. As you can see that it goes up to level 40. I will go straight into the floor plan for everyone to take a look. The floor plans are pretty so-called is quite your standard floor plan, but just take note of some things here. The 2-bedroom, all the 2-bedroom layout are the dumbbell units layout. It is very, very efficient. What is dumbbell? Dumbbell means that you have the bedrooms on 2 sides of your living room. So you do not have a long corridor where you walk into to the 2 bedrooms itself. So in a way, all the space within the 2-bedroom units here are well utilized. There's no so-called idle space or excess space that you find it to be in a way wasteful. So we can utilize all the space. That's why even though it's only let's say it's more than 600 square feet, but you will feel that it is actually quite well designed indoor space. And the kitchen itself is actually enclosable. You look over here, you can actually it's actually not like a normal kitchenette where you have for the 1-bedroom, but it is like a box up. You can actually choose to box up, but also subject to approval, so that you can do your cooking inside there and the smell will not go to the whole unit. In fact, this is actually a very good design for the condominiums also. And then for 2-bedroom premium is also, like I said earlier, all the 2-bedroom right are all dumbbell unit where the bedrooms are on both sides of the living room and the kitchens are all enclosable. You can see from here. Kitchen is enclosed over here. And then you have the kitchen here enclosed also. Kitchen is slightly bigger for the 2-bedroom premium. And then for the 3-bedroom, again, it is also very good size. And the bedrooms are 9 square meter. So 9 square meter, if you think of it as 3 meter by 3 meter, it is also pretty big. You can actually put quite a good size bed. That's why they are drawn here. Easily, you can fit a queen size bed into the bedroom, common bedroom, as well as the master bedroom itself. So you get that. And then you also have the yard for these units also. So the yard, you can actually make use of that to actually, in a way, dry your clothes after you have washed them. So the unit layout for Botany really is very good. Dumbbell unit for all the 2 bedrooms. Then you have enclosable kitchen, which is in my view very good, because when you cook, the smell doesn't go to the whole house also, and then you can actually close off also. And then some of the 2-3 bedrooms here, you have a yard for you actually to dry your clothes. So these are very thoughtful design that the developer had put into the project Botany. So if you want to take a look at Botany, just really make an appointment with any of our Huttons associate, and they will bring you down to show flat when it's actually open for so-called preview towards the end of February itself. So these are some of the other layout type. Again, really very spacious. The 4-bedroom really even much bigger, also as big as 1,500 square feet. So it is really good for multi-generation living also. So I come to the end of my presentation today.